Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and I'm wondering which faith planner is right for you. Today, we're going to take a look at 3 different faith planners that are currently on the market. Two of them are themed as faith planners. One of them is not themed as a faith planner. It's what I'm using as a faith planner. And I just want to preface this video with saying I know everyone has different opinions as far as what they like to have in their faith planner. And so I just want to show you some of the different options that are out there. So if you are considering starting faith planning, or maybe your faith planning isn't currently working for you, you're wanting to change it up, you can see a comparison of 3 different planners that are out there that are available for you to use. And always consider the fact that it doesn't necessarily have to be a faith themed planner to work for your needs and how you plan on using it for your faith study, your faith journey, all of that. So that being said, I'm going to turn you guys around so you can see what's on my desk, and let's check out these planners. I do have all 3 of these planners linked down in the description box below. Let's do it. All right, so on my desk, I do have 3 different planners to compare as far as faith planning goes. So I have the newly released Kelva Plan Faith Planner. It released last week over on her website. I do have an affiliate link. You can check it out below. And I do have a complete flip through of this planner so that you can see all of the details, and we'll look at some of it here. But I have the Kelva Plan planner. I have the Happy Planner faith layout right here. This is an 18-month planner that starts in July. And then this planner has a Happy Planner cover, but it is actually a plum paper planner that is a horizontal layout. And this is the one that is not necessarily a faith planner, but I'm using it for my faith study this year. All right, so the first difference you're going to see right at the beginning is the size. You're going to need to decide what size will work best for you. This is what is considered a big size, 8.5 by 11, which is the full sheet of paper. This is what I have been using in the size that I have been using for my faith planning all year long. One of the reasons I love the big size is that it has more room to write. There's more lines. You don't have to write super tiny. And that has always worked really well for me. What I use my faith planner for is it's where I do my notes in my morning study. So when I sit down with my morning coffee and I'm working through a devotional or working through scripture reading, I take notes on said scripture and I put those notes right here. That's about the amount that I need. I don't take super long, thorough notes. If I'm doing longer notes, it's probably going to be on a different sheet of paper. And so this has just been a way for me to keep track of that morning study time. I find that when I am taking notes, I tend to read a little bit more deeply. I tend to absorb things a little bit more. And so that's the purpose for me doing these notes. This plum paper planner, let's skip ahead to a blank month. This is a 12-month planner. And you can see it's pretty simple. The dividers are pretty simple. They're just a solid color. Here at the beginning of the year, I started decorating a few of the dividers, adding some printables and things like that. I haven't necessarily kept up with that through the year, but that's okay. Pretty simple divider. On the back, it's divided into some different things. I actually paid extra to have an insert put in. This is the prayer insert. You have monthly scripture and reflection, monthly praise, monthly gratitude, and then a prayer list on the back and answered prayers. I thought that was going to be a really good idea. Honestly, it turned out that I didn't use it. I haven't used these beginning pages very much at all. You can see I decorated them at the beginning of the year, but then it was kind of nothing. Like I just ended up not using them. So that's okay. It's just, it turned out to be an extra step that didn't come up in my typical faith planning. What I preferred to use were the monthly layout for me, this is where I do daily scripture writing. So I follow a plan from Illustrated Faith, and then I write out scripture each day, and then I do my note taking once you get here into the weeks like this. So that is a little overview of this one. Then we have the big faith layout. So these are the two big ones, and the biggest difference between these two is how each week is set up. The faith layout from the Happy Planner looks like this. You're thinking in vertical columns. So instead of horizontal for each day, vertical. So you're lining up your notes, whatever it is, this way each week, all thinking vertically Monday through Sunday. It is divided into the SOAP method. The SOAP method stands for Scripture, Observation, and Application. That is kind of the method. I feel like the Happy Planner has always divided their faith layouts into those sections. It makes sense. It's certainly a way to study scripture. It's not ever the way that I have studied scripture. And so when I have used this layout in the past, I kind of just ignore those words and I just take notes straight down the middle. In my opinion, it's not as much writing room. When you compare those lines to one of the weeks right here, this makes more sense taking notes in like paragraph form this way than taking notes in the skinnier column. I have used the big faith layout from the Happy Planner I used it a couple years before this plum paper one. It works. It's certainly very functional for me, but I did have a little issue getting the notes to fit in here and then having it skip with these different sections. If you want to use these sections, if you follow the SOAP method, then this is obviously going to be really, really nice for you and really functional for you. One of the pluses of using the faith layout from the Happy Planner is that it's already faith themed. Your cover is faith themed. All your dividers are faith themed. So you don't have to go back and change things, change out dividers, any of that. It's already faith based throughout. And I do like the setup at the beginning of the month. This is a great place to plan activities, to plan studies, things like that in your future log or your look at the year ahead. And then I do like how the beginning is set up. So the beginning of each month has the month at the top. It has your priorities. Who can you help encourage this month? Write a verse that brings you hope. Reflect on a personal trial. List a favorite prayer below. So I do appreciate that this is faith-based, beautiful dividers. Any of the faith ones will have that. And then you have your monthly layout just like this. Again, this is where I like to do scripture writing. I think people use it for different things. If you're wanting to combine your faith planner into your regular planner and maybe you don't have a ton going on, or maybe you don't like the weekly view, you can actually just keep your regular plans, like your life plans, in here on the monthly layout, and then use the other part for your scripture study, things like that. And then you just have this layout that goes through, again, we already talked about the vertical, it's lined, which is helpful for taking notes. It's relatively neutral, which I think is fun because I do very much enjoy decorating my faith planner. I like to do all kinds of decorations because this is a planner that I interact with every single day. It's the first planner that I interact with every single day. And so I like that it's decorated. It brings a smile to my face. These have been really good. A lot of us were really disappointed in December or with the fall release that there was no 12-month big faith planner. They had a classic size faith planner, but they did not have a big size faith planner. That's one of the reasons I jumped over to plum paper at the beginning of 2023, because I didn't have an option and my other faith planner was running out, and I really prefer the big size for all of the different notes. Now that I have given it a try and have been working in the plum paper planner, I can say that I really do like the horizontal layout for my faith planning. It took me a while to get used to decorating that particular layout, but I very much enjoyed it. Can I switch back to using this kind of more vertical layout? I think so. I think it could work well for me. I enjoyed how I decorated this. When I decorate this style planner, I generally do a lot of decorations over here, down the spine, down the bottom, but leave as much writing room as possible. Can I switch back? Yes, I think I can because I've used this one for multiple years in the past. Am I going to switch back? I don't know quite yet. I'd love to hear if you were trying something different for your faith planner, as opposed to the like typical faith planning layout from the Happy Planner. Let me know if you're going to jump back to this kind of standard layout. I do wish they would just take off these different titles. That's more of a lined vertical. They do have some lined verticals. I'm not quite sure. I'll look online to see if there is a big lined vertical from the Happy Planner, which would be basically this layout. However, it would just have the lines straight down. You wouldn't have it divided up. That might be really helpful if you like thinking vertically like that, but you'd probably just have to change up the dividers. It wouldn't necessarily be like a faith-based planner, but you can use any planner as your faith-based planner. So I was already struggling deciding if I was going to stick with my plum paper planner or if I was going to jump over to the Happy Planner Big Planner, and then I received this planner, and this is Kelva Plan's Faith Planner. Heather Kell, who owns Kelva Plan, who started Kelva Plan, is a faith planner herself. She does faith planning on a regular basis, and that is why I think I love this faith planner so much, because it was designed by someone who knows how they like to faith plan and kind of designed by her. So this one, first off, is a classic size, which means it's much smaller. Here is the big size. This is a classic size. Each of the pages in here are 7 inches wide, 9¼ inches tall, so it's much smaller. That can be good if you are taking your faith planner back and forth from church to Bible study to different groups. The smaller size, much easier to handle. Taking this big old thing around is a lot. That's a lot to handle. So if you like to take your faith planner with you, you might really enjoy the smaller size. The one negative of this smaller size to me is that there's just less room to write. That's just how it goes. So there's less room just because there's less real estate on the page. This particular planner is a faith-based planner, so you're going to see scripture throughout. It is beautifully done, gorgeous illustrations. There is a matching sticker book, which is awesome. And this one is undated, and I believe it's a 6-month planner undated. Let me show you what that looks like. So you have this section right in the beginning where you can list prayers, scriptures, all kinds of different things. Here's your prayer request pages. Again, designed by someone who does faith planning, so it all kind of goes together. It makes sense for a faith planner. And then you have some sections over here. You can use that in a variety of different ways. All of the dividers are awesome because they are double-sided, which means you can reuse these dividers. I love that. I don't always like how the Happy Planner has on the back of their dividers. The front, gorgeous. The back goes directly into the calendar, and so it's a little bit harder to reuse these or change the order. So you got the dividers right here. It just allows you to kind of plan your month. You have the monthly layout, again, something we've all looked at. And then look at this, really simple. So this is combining, this is the simplicity, the horizontal layout, except it's even more simple because with plum paper planners, let me show you this one. Just for a second right here, you have this stuff at the top. You can't get rid of this calendar. It's not an option. You can do a lot of customizing with a plum paper planner. This again is the horizontal layout, and then I went in and customized it for my own needs. But you can't get rid of this up here. What Heather did was just put this open area. So this can be an additional place for notes. Maybe you're outlining your study for the week, things like that, scriptures you're looking at. Maybe you're lettering a scripture a week, something like that. But I like that it's really up to you what goes up there. And then everything else is very neutral, very just easy. One thing I do really like, so I said, of course, there's less room to write, but these lines are kind of closer together. So you might actually have a similar number of lines as in a regular horizontal layout. It's just scaled down. If you have big handwriting, that might be a little bit of an issue, but I think you can still fit plenty of info within here if you are taking notes or using this as your prayer journal, something like that. But it's so simple, you guys. It's perfect for decorating. For me, I will most likely be decorating along the spine when I use this, probably a little bit over here, maybe a little bit down here. That's kind of the style I've been doing with the horizontal layout. But it works so beautifully. It's simple and it allows you to decide what you are going to put there. That's the thing I think most people didn't like about the faith planning layout from the Happy Planner is like we feel like we're being told what we have to put in each section. And your faith planning journey, your faith planning study, all of that is going to be up to you. And we like to do it in different ways. So I like that Heather from Kelva Plan kind of left it up to us how we want to use it. So you have that horizontal layout and it goes throughout. And then in Heather's planner, her faith planner, you have a section for sermon notes, which is just your lined paper. That's fantastic because, again, I learn better when I take notes. And so I do take sermon notes when I'm at church. And then you also have a section back here labeled Bible study, and that could be a place for additional notes. Like I said, I don't always go in depth with notes on my daily study, but if I'm doing a specific study, I probably want a little bit more room to take notes. And so that is perfect back there. My only thing is I wish this were a big size planner. I just like a big faith planner, but I can see a lot of different ways to use the classic size. This is so much more portable, and I know a lot of people love the classic size faith planner. So I think this one might be a really good option. All right, so that is 3 different faith planners for you to kind of compare and figure out what might work well for you. It's all about what you are looking for in your faith planning. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you do in your faith planning? Are you a scripture writer? Do you take notes? Do you use it for prayer? Do you use it for studies? Just let me know. I would love to hear down in the comments below. And I know that others like to read those comments as well to give them ideas. Which one will I be using come July? Well, I think I'm probably going to end up using a combination. I think I am going to finish out my plum paper planner. This one goes through the end of 2023. I am already a good way through the year, and so I do want to go ahead and finish this since this is the planner I started with for the year. That'll be for my daily study. And then I have some big ideas for how I'm going to use this beautiful faith planner from Kelva Plan. One might be for specific devotional studies. I do a lot of studies with illustrated faith, and I would love to keep those studies in here, almost like a daily reflection on those studies. So I think that would be fun. I also think this would be a very good prayer reflection journal planner. So I think that would be really good. I'm just still deciding a little bit, but I know that this one is going to make it into the rotation. And then as far as the big faith layout, I was so excited to see the big faith layout come back for the Happy Planner. I don't know that I'm going to start this planner. This one is an 18-month planner, so it does start in July 2023, but goes all the way through December 2024. So this one might come back into the rotation in January of 2024 when I have finished with my plum paper planner. I think that that's what I'm going to do. I don't mind changing up how I use my faith planner or how the layout is. To me, that keeps it fresh and new. And it's just, this has become such an integral part of my day. It's how I start each day. And so deciding on my faith planner and getting it set up is just something that's really important to me. So I think we will stick with this one. We're going to incorporate this one, and then we might save this one. Now, just one additional reminder, I mentioned it at the beginning, you don't have to have a faith-based planner like these two to use it as your faith planner. I have had many subscribers and patrons share that they use some different layouts. A lot of people are loving the dashboard layout for their faith planning. A lot of people use line vertical. A lot of people use big size but horizontal. That is great too. It doesn't have to be a faith theme for it to be your faith planner. So keep that in mind as you're deciding which faith planner you might want to give it a try. All right, I will link these planners down below so you can be sure to check those out in the description box. I have an affiliate link for Kelva Plan and for the Happy Planner, so I appreciate it when you are able to shop those links if you end up deciding to purchase one of these planners. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. Thank you all so much for all that you are and all that you do. I love that little community over there. If you want to check out Patreon, there is a link down in the description box below, and there's actually a 7-day free trial, so you can go check it out, give it a try, see what it's all about, and decide if you want to hang out with us. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.